This time we will call this meeting to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Here.
Here.
Here. Here.
Here. If you'd all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Trustee Trustee Ludtke.
I pledge
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Trustee Ludtke, I am sorry for my mistake.
That's all right. She's good looking. It's good. Works out.
I thought Don was gonna die.
At this time, we have a swearing in of an officer, Zachary Bell.
Anybody doing photos?
I'm going to stand next to you so you also can see what I'm reading. It makes
Does he
it a
have a
little bit easier.
Jeff, if you want to do it for the TV or no?
Sure. Do you want to turn and stand here? We'll face that way. If you just want to spin that microphone. Sure. If you would raise your right hand. I, Zachary T. Bell,
I, Zachary T. Bell,
do solemnly swear that I will support and comply with the Constitution of the United States of America,
do solemnly swear that I will support and comply with the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution and the laws of the state of Wisconsin,
the Constitution and the laws of the state of Wisconsin,
the charter laws and ordinances of the village of Hartland,
the charter, laws, and ordinances of the village of Hartland,
the rules and regulations of the Hartland Police Department,
the rules and regulations of the Hartland Police Department,
and the law enforcement code of ethics,
and the law enforcement code of ethics,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of my office as police officer to the best of my ability.
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of my office as police officer to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. The floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome Zach Bell to the Hartland Police Department. Zach joins us with over 4 years of law enforcement experience from the Waukesha County Sheriff's Office, and he's already started his road training program. Zach, any family you want to introduce here tonight?
I've got my dad, my stepmom, my mom, and my stepdad. I've got my brother, his girlfriend, my cousin, and my uncle, and then my wonderful girlfriend, Carly.
All right. So, Kenny and Zach.
Take your time.
Oh, I do it at work too.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you're-
All right. So she's not mad at you. You didn't get the badge in the chest.
No.
So that's
Good.
Congratulations again, and if anyone's willing to join us, get to know Officer Bell and some of the other officers with the Hartland Police Department, we'll be just in the meeting room having some light refreshments. So
And,
after the meeting or during the meeting, you're more than welcome to join us.
and the floor is Officer Bell's if you'd like to speak
just-
to the body.
I just want to thank everyone for the opportunity to serve the village of Hartland. Thank you very much.
Chief, can you turn the mic for me? Thanks. Okay, at this time, oh yeah, we'll let you guys go. At this time, we will have public comments. This is for any item anybody wants to speak on. If you want to step towards the microphone, obviously if there's more than one, just go one after the other. If you're going to be a lot more than 3 minutes, let us know so that we can grant you that time.
I will try to be concise. My name is Val Wisniewski. I live at 511 Ransom Road. I just have a couple of comments to a couple of agenda items. Number one, I saw on the agenda tonight that you guys are actually discussing the handicap parking discussion, and I just wanted to say thank you for actually having that discussion, regardless of how it turns out. So just wanted to say thank you because it made me feel like our community voices are being heard. I also saw that you're looking at the special event permit. I did notice in the board packet that the Arrowhead Parade is happening. And at first I was kind of curious, like, okay, I know in recent events there was a requirement for signatures. And at first I was kind of curious, like, why does the parade not require that? Did some digging, found out, like in the ordinance, that in section 7857, that indeed parades are exempt. But then I kind of cross-referenced it to the ordinance that you guys are currently looking at, which seems like a combination of ordinances. And I just wanted to, you guys might be aware of this already, that parade exception is not in the ordinance that you're looking at tonight. So I didn't know if that was something that you're aware of. Lastly, I wanted to speak to the vacant seat that you guys are voting on tonight. I know at least 3 residents have expressed interest. It's been mentioned that historically for the past 50 years, the board president brings forward 1 nomination for the board to consider. Having said that, that has only happened once in the past 50 years. Every member of this board is allowed 1 equal vote regardless of your position. But when you're only allowed to vote on 1 of the 3 potential candidates, it seems to me your votes aren't quite as equal. I'm asking that the board do one of 2 things. Either hear from all 3 candidates and vote on the 3 candidates that are interested, or have a special election and let the community decide who is to fill that vacant seat. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else that wants to speak in public comments?
Ann Charlesworth, 613 Renson Road, Hartland. To explain the purpose of my public comment this evening, I'm going to begin with a quote from George Bush's speech commemorating the 20th anniversary of 9/11. We have seen growing evidence that the dangers to our country can come not only across borders, but from violence that gathers within. There is little cultural overlap between violent extremists abroad and violent extremists at home. But in their disdain for pluralism, in their disregard for life, in their determination to defile national symbols, they are children of the same foul spirit, and it is our continuing duty to confront them. Although I heard these words after I publicly confronted seeing a symbol representing the foul spirit of racism in our community, that was the purpose of my post. It's not enough to just not be racist. As elected officials, we need to be anti-racist. I am not nearly as eloquent a writer or a speaker as our former president. But if you look past the hate and vitriol on the thread of my post, you will see some thoughtful, uncomfortable conversations about racism. And that's why I am here tonight. I ask that you consider the goal for this community to be a thriving, inclusive community that values every individual. One suggestion I have toward that goal is that you consider starting with including citizens from diverse backgrounds when appointing board and committee members. If you decide to take on the goal of creating a more inclusive community and form a committee to study approaches to that end, I would be happy to serve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else that wants to speak?
Ann Grievenkamp, 618 Renson Road, lifelong resident of Hartland. On July 21st, I emailed the village president and the interim village administrator, and I expressed my interest in filling what I knew would be an upcoming vacancy on this board when the trustee was going to resign. I received an email back from our village president that said if someone resigns from their position, I will set up a time to talk about the position and the process for a replacement. On August 16th, Trustee Anson resigned. On August 25th, the Waukesha Freeman wrote an article and had an article in the paper that talked about Trustee Anson's resignation. In the last paragraph of that article, it says, and I quote, "Once that person is nominated, the village board will be tasked with giving their appointment an up or down vote," Fanner still said. He is checking with the village attorney, however, he said, to make sure that that's still the proper process. On September 3rd, I received a phone call telling me that I was not selected. The past week, I then looked into the state statutes. I looked into municipal codes because I wanted to understand. I wanted to know where this actually says this is the process that you select people. I want to know what the process is. I really do. So I looked at all of that. I couldn't find it anywhere. I couldn't specifically say that the process was that we just have one person select somebody, especially when there are multiple people that express interest in maybe filling this seat. So I did reach out again to President Fannersteel and to the interim village administrator, Ryan Bailey, on email. The response back that I got was I did get a municipal code which doesn't say, or does, it doesn't, and it does not, it does and does not say that what this process is was okay. All right, it's very vague. But I think more importantly, what I was told was that there is, that this was a process that has been the best practice for the last 50 years that the board has used. So I did respond back and ask, when has this process been used in the last 50 years? Because I think that's a responsible thing to ask. When have people in our residents in our community expressed interest to fill a vacancy for a trustee position on the board, and we have used the best practice of arbitrarily picking somebody in 1985? So here's why I'm here. I'm not here because I have hurt feelings. I don't have hurt feelings that I wasn't selected. But what I really question is this process. Is this process